Hello everybody, my name is Soleil, and today I will be discussing my personal experience being in the military. I do apologize if you can hear the air conditioner. It is on around the corner. Also, because it is a personal experience, I'm probably going to ramble, and if I do, then I will edit this video, and since I'm not quite good at editing yet, it's probably going to be choppy, so I do apologize. Alright, the first thing, I was in the Army. I was in the Army for 10 years. I went in 2004, and I got out in 2014. Everyone's experience is, and being in the military is totally, I won't say it's totally different, but I feel like there's not one story that lines up with the other story, as far as like, we all have our own personal leadership, we all had our personal, assignments. So even though there is definitely a common ground of things that we've been through, and a lifelong camaraderie that anyone who's been in the military has, overall though, like I said, everyone has their own, their own experiences, their own opinions of being in the military. Some people get out of the military and they're completely disgruntled, and they just have nothing but bad things to say about the military. For me, I'm not gonna say it was it was 100% good, because there was definitely negative experiences I had, but I definitely feel like I needed the negative experiences just as much as the positive experiences to bring me to the point that where I'm at today. And overall, I think the military was a positive experience. It was something that I personally needed. Just to give you a background of who I was prior, between the age of 15 to 23, I was pretty much out of control. I, lived to party. I had this daily mantra off of a title of a movie that I got called Where the Day Takes You. And that was just my attitude, like, where the day takes me. Like, I just want to be spontaneous and just kind of like go with the flow and not really give a fuck. And then at the same time, I have this don't give a fuck attitude. I'm also musing over all the things I want to do. But I'm not doing, at the time I wasn't doing any of it. I wasn't, trying to go down the right path, to be successful. So for me, the military was definitely needed. I do not believe that I would be where I am at today if it wasn't for the military. I'm not gonna say that, like try to sell the military to people like, oh, everyone should join the army or whatever, or the military. But I don't know, I think, for somebody like myself who doesn't have direction, I think it's a good idea. I think that, parents are, you have your parents that, if they're good parents, they raise you up to, and they try to raise you up to be the best person you can be successful, etc. My dad raised me by himself, and he put forth a lot of effort into parenting, and he tried his hardest to make me the best person I can be and the most successful person I can be. And unfortunately, I just went in the wrong direction. Like, I just wanted to party and socialize. And, I needed the extra guidance. I think, the extra push that, as an adult, as far as like, instead of like someone, suggesting or saying like, hey, this is the direction you need to go in, someone saying you don't have a fucking choice. Like, this is the direction you're going in, this is how you're gonna do it. Like, I needed that type of guidance. So, so that's who I was prior to joining the military. Places I've been, first place I went to was Korea. Second place I went to was Fort Meade, and then I went to Iraq. And then after Iraq, I came back to Fort Meade, went to Okinawa, and then from there went to Fort Belvoir. So for the most part, my military journey, as far as the assignments I've had, have all been, for the most part, pretty good. One of the things I'm definitely going to talk about is leadership, which I'll go over that as far as Korea goes. Let me get some water. When I first got to Korea, I was sent to Yongsan, and Yongsan is like being in the States. It's the land of the happy. They're very, I don't know how they are now, but at the time, my personal experience, they were very much into celebrating South Korean culture, like just getting us involved with the community, and just the whole entire like environment, which is very, I don't want to say it's very laid back. So obviously we had a lot of, we're in the Army, we had a lot of things in training we had to do. But compared to where I went next, that place was nice, really nice. There are rules, like the military has rules as far as like places you can go off base, and and whatever rules they decide to throw down on you. And their rules were very lenient compared to the next place that I went. So first portion of my Korean experience, I was in Yongsan, and then halfway through that I got sent up to the northern portion of South Korea, which I was sent to Camp Red Cloud, and that was just a completely different experience. I went from like land of happy to like this base with like this like just dark cloud of depression hovering over it. The first sergeant that was there when I first got there, he was under investigation for sexually harassing different females from different branches. You know, like he liked to get drunk and act like an ass. So when I first got to Camp Red Cloud, he was paranoid, I guess. Because I was 26, I was coming from an MI unit, he told me that he thought that I was sent there almost as like bait, I guess, to see how he would react to a female. Like he was, you know, because he was under investigation. So that's just kind of like an insight to the kind of leadership that I stepped into when I went to Camp Red Cloud. Like it just started like, you know, like what the fuck. My N2IC, she interrogated me. She actually asked me if, you know, the same thing if I was sent there. Like, I was like, what? You know, like, I don't know. The whole thing, my whole experience at Camp Red Cloud in the very beginning just fucking sucked. Just like the leadership, like everybody in that unit, all the NCOs, it was just, people were shady. Officers, NCOs, people were cheating on their spouses. They were all getting drunk. They were, you know, with each other, with lower enlisted. Like there was just no good leadership at all when I first got there. And I was absolutely miserable. I remember I'd call my dad up crying. I wanted out of the military. Like had I gotten out of the military at that time frame, I would have been like somebody who was totally disgruntled, had nothing but negative things to say because I had no good leadership. You know, I was doing night shift, 12 hours shifts, and there were times that I would be on night shift like 6 days a week. Like I just was just super miserable in Korea. Well, the very first time from when I was in Camp Red Cloud, because once that group of leaders left and the new leaders came in that were positive, they made me happy. Like I didn't mind being at Camp Red Cloud. Like they made a shitty situation not so shitty. So I walked out of Korea happy. One of the things I definitely want to talk about is leadership. Leadership is just so fucking important to me, and I believe that not everybody who gets out of the military disgruntled, because like I said, we all have our personal stories and experiences, and you know, and with the things we go through. But I do believe that a lot of people get out of the military who are disgruntled. It's based off the leadership that they had. They had bad leadership. Let me get some water again. I feel like a leader is like having another parent. I feel like a leader is somebody who's supposed to motivate you, inspire you, guide you. They should want to make you a better person, and they should make you want to be a leader too. A lot of times, not a lot of times, I don't care. There are people in the military that they become a leader and they don't know what a leader means. And to them, it's like an ego trip. Like, they're gonna delegate, they're gonna tell you to do work while they sit on their ass and watch you, and then they're gonna make your life miserable, and they're gonna want you to kiss their ass while they're doing it. Totally the wrong attitude to have as a leader. I despise those leaders. I fucking hate them. I think that they shouldn't be leaders. They should demote those people. And those people, yeah, like I said, you have all kinds of leaders in the military. So you have those people that are just shitty leaders that just crawl up the ranks, and you end up having people like the first sergeant sexually harassing people, you know? So I mean, like, and I believe those leaders have become bad leaders. The reason why they became bad leaders is because they had bad leadership to begin with. So it is imperative, so fucking imperative, that people take being a leader seriously. You know, at one point I was an NCO and I had soldiers that I looked after, and not saying that I treat them like, or saw them as children, but I definitely saw them as, you know, like, I needed to put their needs above my own. I needed to make sure that I gave them the guidance that I felt like I needed coming up. I needed to, yeah, it made me feel good knowing that I was hopefully involved in making them better people and leaders overall. So yeah, I think that leadership is just, and it's not even the military. I think that even goes with just like management in general, which I'm going to do a part 2 video to this of me ETSing out of the military. And I will go into my experience as a civilian when I first got out, and part of my opinions have to do with management, which is equivalent to, you know, being an NCO or a leader. So yeah, you know, there's that thing that they ask in the military several times during training events. They'll say, is a leader born or is a leader made? And you know, that's, you know, that definitely is up for, you know, definitely different opinions on that topic. I personally think that both. I think certain people are just born. You can kind of tell when you see little kids like taking, you know, the lead. And then you got people that aren't, you know, natural leaders, but I definitely believe that if you have a good leader that you can, you know, push somebody in the right direction, then yes, they can definitely become a leader. So, all right, enough of my whole entire, you know, leader spiel. So what else? My time in the Middle East. So for me, the military time in the Middle East was, I don't want to say it was a good experience, but it was definitely, I was very lucky that I had the experience that I had, like really lucky. I went out with a small team of people, and because I went out with a small team of people, I didn't have to deal with the politics, I guess, of the military. You know, like a lot of times when a battalion goes out, they still have to form up in formation, they still have to answer to somebody, like they still have to do all the things that they would do if they were back, you know, at their unit. So because we went on in a small group and we got sent out in 2-man teams, I only had to answer to a few people, and I pretty much had leeway to, you know, do what I wanted to in my free time. So, what I did in my free time was I exercised every single day, 3 hours a day. That's how I dealt with my stress when I was out there. And then of course, like I, you know, like overall my experience was good as far as I came back in one piece. I got just very, very lucky with the Middle East. And I'm definitely glad I went out there, because again, that's just something that I felt like I needed to experience. Especially being in the military, you know, I think, I'm not saying that everyone should like go be in a war zone, but I definitely feel like it's kind of part of just the military experience, something that, I'm not saying that people should go out to the Middle East or whatever, but, or whatever, wherever war is, but I feel like the people that go through their entire career never experiencing a war zone, you know, it's hard to take them seriously when they're trying to teach you how to be in a war zone when they've never been in a war zone. Like, there's just a respect factor. It's kind of like, you know, like, shh, you don't know. But, so, you know, like overall with my experiences being in the military, you know, I share with you my really bad experience as far as bad leadership in Korea. I met a lot of great people, a lot of lifelong friends, being in the military. And, you know, for the most part, most of my assignments, I have met some really good leaders. You know, I've had, in Okinawa, Sergeant Thornton was, you know, when I first met her, I wasn't really, I won't say I wasn't fond of her, but I mean, like, I just, you know, I didn't have a positive or a negative opinion of her. But because the reason why I'm bringing her specifically up and she stands out is because there was a point that, you know, in time that I was going through some personal shit, and she was like really there for me. You know, we don't have the same types of personalities. We don't have, like, she's a very religious person. She has, like, you know, her own views in life and whatnot, but she was there for me, and I will never forget her. You know, it's those small little moments that can change someone's views in military or just in general in life. Like just sending out positive energy, being there for somebody, you know, guiding them, caring for them, you know, just giving a shit, you know. And, you know, people like her, in seeing how people actually, you know, can give a shit, is what made me have my positive, you know, opinions of being in the military, you know. Because like I said, like, I've dealt with really shitty people and I've dealt with really positive people. So, and then the other person I want to bring up is Sergeant Robbins. Oh man, he was a tough one. He's one of those NCOs that's like, you know, by the book, you're gonna do it this way, there's no other way. And at first I was just like, I fucking hate him, you know. But then afterwards I realized I realized that everything came from a positive place. Like, he was just trying to guide and make good, you know, good human beings, good leaders, whatever, you know, make people move forward and be successful. And I appreciate him for that. And he's also part of the people that I add to my list of, you know, of my experiences being in the military and walking out with a positive, you know, attitude. So like I said, I guess overall Okinawa specifically was a pretty good experience. Iraq, I went with a bunch of reservists, so their attitudes were a little bit more laid back than the active duty personalities that I had worked with. So overall, there's like 30 of us. Those guys, I mean, like for life. I'm just so happy that I went to Iraq with them. They're a great, you know, group of people. Definite camaraderie and much love for each individual I went to Iraq with. So, and then of course, you know, like in the military coming out, I was at Fort Belvoir, and then then you had this one disgruntled NCO. Dude must have been like 300 fucking pounds of like just fat, and he was just so negative, and I just remember like looking at him like, fuck my life, this dude. Really nice guy, just really fucking negative. Shouldn't have been a leader at all. Should not have put me in his lane, or any soldier for that matter in his lane. He should have just been left alone to, you know, deal with his personal issues that he was going through. So, you know, I went through the positives and the negatives and just different experiences I've had in the military. I think overall, what I would like you to take from my experiences, if you're thinking about going into the military, one thing I definitely suggest, well, two things. One, pick your job. Know what job that you want, and if you have the time, don't budge on the job that you want. I got so lucky with the job. Literally, I wanted to be a dental technician, and the guy said, we don't have that for you. So then I'm sitting there looking, and he's like, here's a list of all the jobs that you have, pick one. So I said, all right. And I sat there, and halfway through he got annoyed because I was taking too long, and he was like, hurry up and pick one. So then I got pissed off, and I was like, well, then you fucking pick one for me. That could have gone so fucking wrong. So wrong. But he gave me the 74 Charlie MOS, and his reason was, at least you'll be an air conditioner. And I still, to this day, I'm just like mind boggled, because it's like that path could have been a completely different direction. And I'm just like I said, the reason why I'm at where I'm at in my life is because of the MOS I had in the military, and I just feel so lucky. So lucky. So yes, obviously not everyone's gonna be lucky. You might have somebody who tells you to go pump gas for the next 10 years or whatever, so, or however long you want to be in the military. So for your MOS or whatever branch you're in, make sure the job is something that you're going to want to do, and something that's going to convert into a job in the civilian world, which, you know, that's another issue people have in the Yale military. Some people become disgruntled because whatever job they had in the military either didn't convert into a civilian job, or they didn't know how to convert it as far as like their resume and whatnot. So yeah, pick your job right, or pick the right job. And then also figure out what branch you want to be in, because each branch has their own personality, and I feel like if you don't go into the branch that meshes with your personality, that's also going to add to a possible negative experience. You know, like I can tell somebody who's in the Navy over somebody who's in the Army or the Marines. I can tell someone who's, you know, in the Air Force. Like, you can just tell, like, everyone has their own personality, each branch. So those are definitely two things that I suggest that you think about prior to joining the military. If you're thinking about getting out of the military and it's because of bad leadership, I'm not going to say like this isn't your time to get out, because, you know, like I said, everyone has their time. You know, it's time for them, you know, when it's time for you to get out. But I will say that I feel if it is leadership at a certain place that you're at right now, to not base your entire experience off the military, off that one experience. That not every single experience is going to be the same as experience maybe you're currently going through. So just something for you to think about if you're thinking about getting out. And yes, I think that is it. Yeah, I think that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my video, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be editing this video because I spent a lot of time with long pauses. So all right, that's it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be me ETSing video. So all right, bye.